On a rainy night somewhere in the forests of the northeastern United States, a young man was walking back into town after spending the day fishing with friends. Although the town wasn't far from their fishing site, the storm had caught him off guard, so he decided to wander off the trail and take a shortcut through the deep woods. He didn't get far before he noticed a partially eaten animal carcass hanging off of a tree. He thought about going back the way he came from so as not to run into whatever predator had done it. But when he turned back, the forest looked unfamiliar. He was lost. He foolishly continued down the same path and began to hear a whistling sound, much like the wind, whispering strange incantations. He knew then that the animal had been killed by no natural predator. He knew that he was in the territory of a Wendigo. His grandfather had told him stories about the Wendigo. He had assumed they were just legends, just scary stories told to kids to keep them from wandering away at night. But he knew standing there in the rain that the stories were real. He could feel it. He could smell the scent of rotting meat and rotting leaves. Before he could run, the giant creature was upon him. The Wendigo made a quick feast of the young man, eating every part of him, even his bones. But the Wendigo wasn't always a monster. In fact, many decades ago, he had been human. He'd had a family who lived with him in a quiet cottage in the woods. On one particularly harsh winter, they were snowed in, unable to go into town for food. The children and his wife died of starvation, and in an act of complete desperation, he ate their meat to stay alive. He survived the winter, but by the time he had emerged from the cabin, he had transformed from a man to a gaunt, pale monster who was cursed to wander the earth, craving the meat of humans. Stories of Wendigos have been around for hundreds of years. They are an integral part of Algonquian folklore and probably one of the more well-known Native American creatures. They've come to embody so many different things. They can be used as a cautionary tale against cannibalism or as metaphors for human corruption. They also obviously have a much deeper spiritual meaning to the Native Americans who have passed the stories down for centuries. Even though the Wendigo is seen as a myth by most people, there have been some pretty disturbing real-life occurrences that blur the line between legend and reality. I won't go into that more here because I want to cover it in a future video, but if there's any other folk tales or legends you guys want me to cover, please let me know. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to Crypticc for more.